3 new business entrepreneurs will enter the Dragon's Den as it celebrates its 10th birthday.
I love passion and I actually love bonkers, but I just think it's a bit weird.
I'm sitting here feeling quite pressurised by the other Dragon's offers.
The one thing I can give you is 2 guitars.
I love you. I just want to go down the pub.
This is not going to do my marriage no good.
So you've lost 5 million from 2011?
Yes.
Well, one Scottish entrepreneur who did impress the Dragons back in February was Callie Russell, founder and CEO of Malsey, the personal shopping app. He was looking for £75,000 of investment in return for 5% of his company. He got this offer from Peter Jones.
You could be the next Twitter, Snapchat, who knows? If I had a coin, I'd probably throw it. Clearly, you've made me into a potential gambler. Actually, no, I will really regret it, so I'm going to make you an offer. I'm going to offer you all of the money, but I want 20%.
It massively pains me to say it. I don't think I can do it.
But Callie, on that basis, I'll have to say I'm out.
Well, thanks so much, guys. Really
Good
appreciate
luck,
your time.
Callie.
Well, Callie joins us on the line now, along with Jim Duffy, the CEO of Entrepreneurial Spark, and here in the studio, Siobhan Mackenzie, entrepreneur and founder of a company that makes bespoke and contemporary kilts. Kilt talk in a minute, but first, Callie, you're going to have to get us out of that cliffhanger. What happened next? Did you end up in penury, or are you rich?
Well, it's essentially really nice. It's the first time I've heard that in ages, and I've got a bit of tension in me just listening back to it. So we have not ended up in penury, as you put it. We have now more than doubled our staff since that point, and we're on course to double it again in the next 6 months. So it is all good since that point. We've just released a brand new version, which for the first time allows people to buy directly from us. So it's really two-touch buying, which is just fantastic and makes shopping unbelievably easy. Our international versions have gone strength to strength. 2 weeks ago, we were featured on Fox News across the whole of the US, and just this week, we were actually the #1 downloaded app in Lithuania. So since that point, I think we made the right decision. We've been working hard, and we've seen some fantastic results from it on the other side as well.
Callie, it's a bit like being big in Japan, isn't it? How did you get to be the #1 app in Lithuania? You have to explain that.
Do you know what? It was one of those random things. It was, it came from a publication picking us up, covering the app. The app's kind of seen by a lot of people as Tinder for fashion, that pulls together all these different stores into one single place. And one person picks it up, writes about it, and it kind of snowballed from that point. So I think we still are #1 there. If not, we've kind of dropped a little bit today. But when I looked at it yesterday, we were beating the likes of eBay, Amazon, Tinder, Instagram, Facebook, all these sort of guys. So it does show you the power that, and the product that we've put together, and is really, really exciting for us just now.
I'll stay on the line, Callie. Jim, tell me about Entrepreneurial Spark. What does it do?
So Entrepreneurial Spark's got 3 hatcheries, one in Ayrshire, one in Glasgow, one in Edinburgh. We work with Sir Tom Hunter, Lord Willie Hockey and Anne Gloag. And the whole idea is that we bring entrepreneurs in over an 18-month programme. The first 6 months is the hatchery, where we focus on their mindsets and behaviours, and the second 12 months is the nest, where they're less needing to try and make them investable, as Callie has been.
Siobhan, we will talk kilts in a minute, because I'm actually thinking of buying a new one. No, I'm not looking for a discount, it's okay. But do you think either of those approaches would suit you? How did you get started?
I'm actually part of Entrepreneurial Spark in Glasgow, so
you're going to say good things about it then, aren't you?
Absolutely, yeah. No, it has been great.
It sounds a bit like a boot camp for business.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're doing something on your own, it can be quite intimidating. So to have your mindset trained appropriately, to have a place where you can go, you have something called a business enabler. So they challenge your thoughts and they look upon your business from an objective point of view. And if there's any issues with it, they'll tell you because they want the best for you and they want it to succeed. And it's just been invaluable to me to have that.
The one thing that always strikes me is, obviously, you have to have a business plan, but the least appropriate, or at least the least good, if I can put it that way of actually having a business surely is to plan, because you do not know what the market is going to do.
Absolutely. It's difficult. I guess you can have what you want to achieve.
There going, hang on, my business plan says I should be £1 million in profit by now.
You can have your goals and your targets, and that would help drive you in sales if you've got targets there. Obviously, it's never going to be exactly, hopefully you would want it to be more, but sometimes it can give and take. So.
Callie, are you glad that you didn't get the money from Peter Jones and the other Dragons?
they've got to kind of say, and listening back to that is, they thought we could be the next, Snapchat, Twitter, that sort of thing like that as well. So it's a massive endorsement of what we set out to achieve. We've been really fortunate to, slightly just before that point, to be backed by a range of great entrepreneurs from the Scottish tech scene, including Gareth Williams, the founder of Skyscanner. So, we already had that backing, that support. And you know what, we've gone from strength to strength from that stage. When that aired, we saw tens of thousands of people sign up over a really short space of time. We'd also, at the same time, we've been working on an agreement with Samsung for them to promote us in the UK and Ireland, and that went live the day after Dragon's Den. So again, it was another great way for us to kind of get in front of more people and for more people to start using our product. And the thing about Malsey and what we set out to build and set out to kind of achieve is to get something that, it's not just for people who love fashion or who love shopping. It's a product that's designed to just make shopping and buying great clothes a lot easier. And you know what? We were able to use the show and we were able to take part of that. We were able to get fantastic feedback from the Dragons throughout that process to actually enable us to make that product better. We took on board some of the things that they said, and we have improved a lot since that point.
Callie, I was going to ask, when you were founding your business, trying to get your business out there, who was part of your team? Because clearly, if you're launching an app, as you mentioned there, the tech people that you've now got, did you have tech people on board? Did you have fashion students, maybe like Siobhan? Who was there in the initial stages?
At the idea, it was very much an idea stage, and then you kind of grew a team, and you prove that you can deliver stuff. So you prove that you can line up funding, you can win awards.
But how do you do that? How do you prove you can line up funding? I mean, I used to produce business programs, and one of the big things was get this fantastic idea, and maybe this is obviously where Entrepreneurial Spark comes in. But we can't get people interested because we can't actually put up the initial funding to show that we can even make a product in the first place.
So it's all about proving that you can do things with pretty much nothing or anything. I was actually speaking in one of the Entrepreneurial Spark offices last night and telling our story to people, and a big part of our story goes back to the very, very beginning. And when we started, I can't code, I don't have a great knowledge of fashion, but what I do understand is how to get people excited about a product and how to create a bit of a buzz. So we didn't spend a single penny, and we made a single site website. We went out and promoted it, and we signed up 3,000 people in little over 2 months. So we proved that people wanted what we were building, and then based on that, we were then able to go out and kind of secure funding and secure kind of angel backers who said, you know what, you've proved the hardest part of this, which is actually getting people to use it. We're going to give you the support and the time to build a team to enable that business to kind of grow the tech part of it.
The angel backers you mentioned there, Callie, I'm guessing Jim Duffy, that's a big part of it as well, the so-called, business angels, if you like, who are out there. And, I'd interviewed a few as well, and a lot of them actually struggled to find projects that they wanted to put money into. That was a couple of years ago, right enough, but they're canny with their money. But at that point, they were saying a lot of entrepreneurs not really coming forward. They were finding a bit of a dearth in the market. How's it looking now in terms of entrepreneurials?
So there's 2 points there. The first thing in Scotland. Scotland has got one of the most innovative, world-class funding mechanisms. It really is world-class. It's called the Scottish Edge Fund. John Swinney put it together. It's now under the auspices of Royal Bank of Scotland, the Scottish Government, and the Hunter Foundation. It's phenomenal. It gives these early-stage entrepreneurs a real step up, and I think Callie benefited from that. The second thing is we've just had an entrepreneur raise £640,000 in a Glasgow hatchery. Some of that came from Scottish angels, and some of it came from angels in the UK. There is money out there, but sometimes you have to knit the money together over 2 or 3 funding mechanisms or 2 or 3 syndicates.
Jim, you say the Scottish Government is pitching into this. What do we, the taxpayers, get back?
Well, what you're doing is you're creating aspiration. You're funding 20 or 30 fantastic, high-impact, high-growth startups in Scotland every year. Who, by the way, are not just competing in Scotland, but the UK and with other cities around the world. Entrepreneurial Spark opening India next week, and the appetite for entrepreneurship is phenomenal over there. It's a really bold move. What people have to appreciate is that startups like Charlie, they take a lot of time, they take effort, and there's a high failure rate. So when you put things like the Scottish Edge together, a decent Scottish angel network, and incubator space like Entrepreneurial Spark, that gives them a better probability, and you get better enabled de-risked entrepreneurs.
Do we get to keep, we who've pitched in some of the money, get to keep a stake in these companies?
Well, not at the moment. If Callie creates 20 or 30 jobs, right away the taxes for that have already paid for what he's got.
Good point. Siobhan, we still haven't talked about bespoke and contemporary kilts yet, but first of all, would you listen to this? I know you're biased towards Entrepreneurial Spark because it's done well by you, but don't you really fancy having been on Dragon's Den? Would you not have preferred that?
I think yes and no. It'd be a really good platform to show what I do, but without places like Entrepreneurial Spark, I probably wouldn't have had the confidence. I wouldn't have had the pitching ability against experienced.
How did you find
businesses.
Entrepreneurial Spark? How did that come about? You're a fashion student, you've got this idea, and then suddenly because it sounds so huge. We hear like they're out there, but how do you get to them?
It's easily accessible. Twitter, they're very big on Twitter, and just Google, really. Just Googled them, found their website, applied, and I had an interview, and it just went from there.
And it's a shared platform for ideas and expertise, from what I understand as well. It's not about necessarily just about funding, but as you said, in terms of like how to pitch yourself, because that's all big and scary when you're first out there.
Absolutely grow your confidence in yourself and in your business, and actually presenting your business to others. Because I mean, some people may have an excellent business, but maybe they can't sell it well. So it's training your confidence and things like that.
And trying to get in touch with potential markets.
Yeah, the connections that it opens up is amazing, because although you might think, well, the other people that are in it aren't in your industry, the people that they know or the things that they can do to help you is great. And otherwise you might be quite isolated, where you're not going to have those contacts, and that's why it's called an accelerator, is because you're getting these doors opened up which could fast track something for you, where if you're on your own then that might not have happened.
Are you a one-woman business at the moment? Is it just you, or do you have other people with you?
No, it's just me. I have a fashion intern as well, so she started with me a couple of months ago. But I work closely with manufacturers, so everything on mine is made in Scotland, Scottish textiles, Scottish manufacturers, Scottish design. So at the moment, that safeguards about 50 jobs in my manufacturers, and I obviously want to have my own jobs in my own company. I found as a student there weren't many design placements or design jobs in Scotland when you graduate. So I want to create that, and I want to help other fashion students that maybe come across the same thing, and actually build platforms for jobs in Scotland in the creative industries, because we've got fantastic talent.
Now, it says you make bespoke and contemporary kilts.
Yes.
Bespoke I can understand. I need a bespoke kilt
Yes.
because frankly I can't get any off the shelf that wouldn't make me look like, or wouldn't make my backside look like two
There's
small boys.
never a bad-looking man in a kilt. I
Yeah,
hope.
exactly. Two small boys fighting under a travel rug, I think is the image I was trying to give you there. But what about contemporary? What does that mean? Contemporary kilt, is that a kilt with pockets?
No. What a contemporary kilt, what Siobhan Mackenzie contemporary kilt is, I contrast various textures together. A lot of it's within my pleat work, so it's using a lot of innovation within design and manufacture. So I studied a kilt internship with my manufacturer whilst I was a student. For 6 months I learned the traditional kilt making way first, so that I approached it with respect for the craft. And so a lot of my pleat work will contrast various textures, so it could go tartan, Harris tweed, tartan, Harris tweed. The possibilities are endless, but what they create is truly distinctive, innovative kilts. So
I want one in the McDonald tartan, but Mrs. McDonald is saying, well, she's not actually called her Mrs. McDonald, but she says, right, her indoors says I should get a tweed one. Now I can get the best of both worlds, which is great news.
Yeah.
Callie, can I go back to you? I mean, Dragon's Den, it's all a bit of fun, and I'm sure they cast it very well. They put in people who are dead cert or very good prospects at business like you, and let's face it, they leaven it with a few people who are, let's see, a bit more off the wall. I'm trying to be diplomatic about this. Absolute no-hopers. Is it anything more than entertainment, do you think?
I don't think so at all, to be honest with you. I think at the end of the day, it's a long process. You don't just walk in there and it's 5-10 minutes. We were in front of them for 2.5 hours, filmed as live, and have your business picked through from start to finish, and that takes a huge amount from you and gives you a lot back at the same sort of sense. Because these guys have done a huge amount and built fantastic businesses. On the other side of that is, what is someone's kind of mad crap idea is the other person's Facebook, is the other person's Twitter, at the same sort of idea with that as well. Not that long ago, the idea of having drones flying about our cities and all these type of things would have been laughed out by places. And now, it's become a commercial reality, and there's a lot of businesses raising a lot of money in that sort of sector. So I really think it's a mix, it's a combination. Obviously, it's designed to make good TV, but on the other side of that, there's been some fantastic businesses that have come out of it. From our point of view, we're going to end up employing over 30 people before the end of the year. We'll have raised a significant amount of money to to do that. And you know what, a big part of that comes from the exposure that gave us and the kind of the input that gave us as well.
Callie, this must be the sector you're in. You mentioned the sector. It's a hugely competitive sector. How do you make it in a sector like that? How do you present something in the first place that looks different from what's out there? You mentioned other marketplaces. So what makes yours different?
I think it all comes down to innovation. You know, what we've actually found is when it comes to the online shopping sphere is that, you know what, there's lots of people that sell clothes online, but you know what, there's very few places that pull all those places together and provide you one single place to go shopping. I really mean there's very few of them, and we are.
Is it too big though? I find when I visit these sites, if it is too big, I come out straight away because I have too much choice. Just bamboozles me.
Not at all, because it's all
manageable?
personalised. So on the same point of that, as you come to the app, you tell us what the sort of thing you're looking for, and we'll go and find it for you. So our system will go and pull together all those different stores, so you can basically build a feed for your workwear, for your weekend wear, for Christ, if you're off to tea in the park, you can build one for that as well. And we'll actually go and find you the stuff that we think is going to suit you individually from the information that you've put into the app from all those different stores. So we really are the perfect way to kind of shop online. It'll cuts down a huge amount of time for you in that same sort of process. And what we're trying to do, and what we've kind of set out to do, and what we've kind of gone through this process from stuff like Eastbar to, you know, graduating and ending up going off to kind of take part in Dragon's Den, raising several rounds of investment and growing our businesses, we're trying to create a platform that is innovative and, you know, does sit differently. We do look at what other people are doing in the space and we say, you know what, how does this hit back on the user? How do we make something that is fundamentally useful to people trying to buy clothes online? And you know what, if you spend enough time, if you have enough resource, then you're able to do that. And if you look at the stats that we see these days, and, you know, we see thousands of people signing up for Mallsy every single day now without us spending huge amounts of money in marketing, really does prove that we have created something innovative. We have been given the time, the resources and the support to do that, and more importantly is that we can grow a fantastically global business being based right here in Scotland by being innovative and actually thinking outside of the box.
Callie, thank you. Jim Duffy, thank you as well. Last word to you, Siobhan. In a sentence, what advice would you give to a budding entrepreneur?
If you can dream it, you can achieve it.
Gosh, how's that? That was a very short sentence. Siobhan Mackenzie, thanks very much indeed.